Hi, I am Verdaillia Turner, and this is Georgia Now. Hi, this is Verdaillia Turner, and we're going to talk about student discipline problems and how those discipline problems cost us money, cost us personnel, cost us time. And we've been knowing for many years that we've had discipline problems. Many teachers call it the elephant in the classroom. In fact, each time we have surveyed teachers, the number one problem with their being able to do their job is that there are too many discipline problems in the classroom. Recently, we had a coach in one of our school districts, very good teacher, who took a gun off of a student. But what's happening is that that coach is being somewhat demoted. At least that's what the district is offering. And many times we have seen teachers who are just outright made the targets, and teachers are being victimized. Adults are victims of ill student behavior. Now, it only takes one bad apple to spoil a whole barrel. And as we surveyed teachers and talked with many teachers the past several weeks, they tell us that if they have a classroom, even in elementary school, of 24 kids, it's about 5 or 6 might be well-behaved kids, and maybe about 5 or 6 of those parents they will become acquainted with. And usually those are the parents they don't need to become acquainted with. But so many children, elementary school now, throw desks, destroy property, curse at adults, and unfortunately, some of our parents are siding with their children before they know the facts. Schools are not babysitting agencies, and we're going to have some real standards. In schools and all through society, we must have discipline. Discipline builds character, and character builds a great society. Let's just talk about middle and high schools. I taught high school for years. We spend so much time documenting students. In-school suspension, of course, some students act up just to go to in-school suspension so they don't have to do their academic work. We spend time with paperwork proving, as if we have something against a student or a child, that the child is ruining the entire classroom for everyone else. And it's very seldom, especially in the schools where I taught, and unfortunately public schools, see parents. Now, there are some public schools that see more parents than others. But as I talk to parents in academies and private schools where they are paying for that education and paying tax dollars out also because they said we were products of public schools, we believe in public schools, I believe in public schools. Those parents know, they go to meetings, they receive letters, they sign off, that there is zero tolerance in those schools. Now, of course, we have charter schools, some run by companies for profit, that are not transparent for the most part. There are discipline problems there too. So nothing really has changed when we talk about the choice movement. But we have to choose to stand up for some type of basic standard. If a child is under 18 years old and in a household, that's a minor. Children don't make rules. Adults do. Children are not in charge. Adults are. School systems run by adults must learn to stand up and have strict discipline policies, enforcing those policies, and do any and everything in their power to talk to every parent. A child is coming either from a foster home, a shelter, or a two-parent home, a grandparent home, a working home, a more well-off home, except they're coming from somewhere. So we cannot afford to allow children to run adults and schools. We're going to pay for that. We're paying for it right now. Some of our best and brightest teachers exit just as soon as they can. COVID-19 showed us that now we have a bigger teacher shortage because teachers are learning how to make a living another way, or they're saying if it's costing me my peace, it's too expensive. We have great parents. We are so glad for those parents who are engaged in their children's lives, who are making sure that even if I don't have the latest computer, whatever, that we can sit down with a book. We can read. We can go to the aquarium. We can go to the park. I can teach my child to fish or to cook or to garden, or my child can teach me some things. All that's educational. We can travel with our students. Some of us don't have that kind of money, but there are so many things we can do to enrich our children's education, but we won't be able to do it unless we are able to instill discipline and respect for adults in authority, not only in the classroom, but throughout society. Discipline has been out of hand for a long time. It's costing us God knows what. It would be wonderful to see where each school district is spending in human capital. When the teacher says, sit down, Johnny, be quiet, Mary, blah, 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 having to write the child up, and the teacher having to prove that they've done everything they can to try to make sure every child is educated in that classroom, because they are having to attend to all of the discipline problems. There was a time where you walked the halls, you took your hat off. I know I sound antiquated. I'll tell you my age. There was a time where if Deacon Jones came around, young men would stop the cursing. They'd put away the wine bottles. Now they're cutting us off in traffic. More than that, they'll come in there and shoot a parent. Oh, it's out of hand. It's been out of hand. But there are good students who are not spending all of their time running to cars that's racing around on social media. There are good students, and thank God for them, that become good doctors, good lawyers, good bakers, good business owners, good parents, even good church stewards, good with their money, not cheating on the taxes. Why am I saying that? So, Verdaillia, you're rambling. No, I'm not. It goes right down to what our morality is, what we believe in, where our hearts are. If your neighbor is struggling, because we have a lot of single mothers, for instance, who are struggling with their children, go lend that neighbor a hand. Men are men. Be men. Take care of your children. Instruct the kids on what's right and wrong. If you don't know, if you need somebody to help you out, reach out. Reach out to an organization. Reach out to your pastor. Reach out to a good teacher. Reach out to Mr. Jones in the neighborhood. Teach children what good work principles are, because that builds character. Let them mow the lawn. Let them clean the gutters out. Let them rake the leaves. Let them clean the kitchen and mop the floor, wash the car. That sounds antiquated. Y'all, there are principles in good work. Sometimes we give our children a little bit too much slack. We give them credit cards like adults. We buy them cars. Okay, I understand that. And we don't keep up many times on what our kids are doing with their time, who they're associating with, what they're doing with their hours, how much time they are spending watching what and listening to what as it relates to the media, etc. But overall, if we don't get a hold of our young people, and ministers, I'm going to talk to you too, because you already know what Proverbs say. I'm talking to Christian ministers now. Most of us are still Christian. Some of us are practicing Christians. That's the difference, right? Okay. Well, what will happen is that people will be drained. Society will be drained. It's costing us money. It's costing us tax dollars. It's costing us time. It's costing us more jails being built. My God, because of discipline problems, a lack of respect for authority, a lack of respect for older people, a lack of respect for each other, we'll be drained. So many of us now are disgruntled, and we're using political systems and parties to correct stuff. That's not the answer. They're going to keep the war going just so they can, keep us in a mentality. Oh, they're doing something to you, victim mentality. They're doing it to black kids. Or my white kids are scared because we feel guilty. Come on, y'all. Those are political messages. And some of it's true. But we cannot be divided and make that the conversation when we have an elephant. And that elephant is breeding more and more elephants. And they are growing these long tusks. And they're charging at us in our schools, in our communities, on our freeways. So we're drained. We become disgruntled. We turn on each other. Then we feel, many of us, dejected, discipline problems in what we're listening to and what we're believing instead of truisms. And we become distressed. So there used to be a message on TV. It's 12 o'clock. Do you know where your child is, or do you know where your children are? Parents love their children. We love our children. So if you love your children, and I know you do, you would chastise your children. And that's a truism. It's a difference between punishing a child and chastising a child. Somebody got to say it. I understand the choice movement. What I don't like about the school choice movement is they're not telling the complete truth. What I have a problem with, even with some teacher organizations and unions, they're not telling the complete truth. We keep bouncing around in agendas. I'm talking now to my community, Georgia, and I can narrow that right on down. I live in the DeKalb School District. I went to public schools. I'm African American. Everybody take care of your home. Don't look for the government to take care. You take care. And we'll have a better society. We have got to do something about discipline. And you can start at home. And the ministers, thank you. I hope this is a charge to you. Go through Proverbs and stay on it. And when you see something, say something. That's the truth. That's the Christ truth. Thank you for listening.